Good afternoon, gladiators. We are about to play S02. Hey everybody, this is of course Oliver Joyce, your host today, and we are continuing our journey down the path of Wonder Boy games. We played the original Wonder Boy in the last video, the SEGA classic from 1986, and in Season 1 we played Wonder Boy in Monsterland, also a SEGA game. And today we continue playing Wonder Boy 3 The Dragon's Trap, which is the 2017 remake from Lizard Cube, and it's very, very faithful to the original that I played so long ago. So let us jump in right now and return to Monsterland. And when I say continue where we left off, I mean literally we jumping in right where Monster Boy in Wonderland finishes. In fact, we're playing the very last bit of the game, as you'll see by the game's introduction. And you can see here we have Wonder Boy and his various iterations in this game. He becomes a hawk and a lizard man and a merman and a lion man and even a little mouse man, which is kind of blocked off by my big head down here. All right, let's jump in and play. Create a new save. We'll play normal difficulty. You can actually be a girl in this, which is kind of cool. You can be Wonder Girl for the first time. But we'll be Wonder Boy because we're going to be faithful to the original. Before you is the Monsterland. Overcoming various hardships, you've at last entered the monster's castle. Your target is the dreaded Dragon's Room. So the whole story of Wonder Boy and Monsterland leads up to this very point. But unbeknownst to you is the fact that the dragon has the power to cast curses on his enemies. The last dungeon. Here we are. And we've got all the gear and everything. It's really beautifully animated. You can see when you turn left and right, there's a little lovely turning animation. Attack, jump. And they've done a really nice job of actually remaking the classic music. In fact, this game plays identically to how the original played. It's only they're based, the guys at Lizard Cube, I think it's two guys. They remade the original. By reverse engineering the old SEGA cartridge. So there's a little maze you got to go through in the beginning. Pick the right path to get to the dragon. And one of the coolest features of this game I'm going to show you, but not just yet, will make you surprised. These cool kind of Cyclops enemies, really iconic character in this game. Now, one of the things about the Dragon's Trap is it's actually one of the first, I believe, sort of metroidvania games that was available for SEGA. Left or right path? We'll go left. I played this game so many times as a kid, even more than the other games. Maybe Monsterland I played more, but I played the Dragon's Trap an awful lot. And you had this big nasty dungeon at the end, the castle you had to get through, and you only had, you had a little hourglass timer, and so you had to get through it quickly before your health ran out, but we actually don't have the timer, thankfully. And here we are, facing the Mecha Dragon. We don't have any magic yet. This was always annoying. Back in the day, you had to jump up and hit him. And luckily we have so much health and armor. But it was always a little bit of the hit zone wasn't brilliant. You had to kind of time it quite nicely. And by this point you were really good at the game, so you kind of knew exactly what you had to do, but... There we go, we got him. They made that fight a lot easier than it used to be. Oh! We got cursed before I could get any coins. And now we have turned into Dragon Man. Or Lizard Man? He's more of a dragon than a lizard. I can't remember if I used to call him Lizard Man. But he's more of a dragon. Lizards, of course, don't breathe fire. Now the whole castle is in fact on fire and we must escape. There are simple RPG elements in this game, like the ability to get items, unlock doors, and so on. And of course, upgrade your gear. Falling blocks everywhere, so we must be careful for that. Get past these guys. Because we have a lot less health now that we're Dragon Man. Lizard Man. What are we going to call him? We'll call him Dragon Man, because he's kind of a dragon. Like you dash for it. Staircase forms. This is, of course, just the introduction to the game. The real game proper will begin shortly when we escape the castle. Out we go. I love games and I love movies as well that begin right after the previous one ends. You know, examples of this are things like Rocky 4 begins right after Rocky 3 ends, after the fight with what's his name, Clubber Lang and so on. And Karate Kid 2 begins right after the fight, that kind of thing. There's plenty of examples of it. Actually, it might be Rocky 4 and Rocky 5. Yeah. It's the fight against Ivan Drago. Anyway, I digress. Proceed with your adventurous undertaking. Wonder Boy, the Dragon's Trap. The village. I like those little, nice little cutscene introductions like that. The little UI that comes in. Not cutscenes. Many layers of parallax scrolling you can see there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's at least 5 or 6 layers, and that's really nice. But what I wanted to show you is this. We're playing the game in this beautifully animated version, but if you wanted to go back and just play the original classic, you can just press this button here. And here we are. Oh, you can't see it because it actually affects my screen. So, hang on. There we go. We're playing in the retro version. F1 is the key. You do that, but it's also it switches my camera on. So you're kind of wondering what happened there. That's what happened. But these are the original sprites from the game. This is Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap as seen on the SEGA Master System. And we can go into a shop here. Talk to this guy and buy a sword and a shield and armor and so on. And they've kept the sound effects and everything, but you can also change the music. Oh no, those two function keys. Okay, let's go back to that. Anyway, also affect my video, so that's why you kind of see the games Gladiator stuff. Anyway, it's a really nice real thing for them to do, you know, for those who love the original so much like I did and want to check out what it used to look like and what it looks like now, and also just shows you how faithful they have been to the original. Wow, with a face like yours, I'd be looking for an antidote right now. How rude. That's a fortune teller. It kind of tells you where to go next. So we can go down there, but we're not going to do it just yet. This is a lot of metroidvania elements in that there are things that you can't get to until you become other types of characters. For example, these checker block bricks, they can only be walked on when you're a mouse. Like, you can actually walk down them vertically. Here's the nurse, the pretty nurse. With she looks a little too keen to hold that syringe, doesn't she? Like she's going to do some damage. We're not injured, so we don't need to do that. And we can't go any further because only the mouse can climb those bricks. And that's where the Metroidvania elements come in. And I love a good Metroidvania game. And this is a fairly simple one, but it has some really great elements that make you go backwards and forwards until you reach your destination. Same with this area here. You can't go past that until you're Hawkman. and you can fly. So what we're going to do is go to our first area. Down here. And we have 2 hearts now. Everything is just full of polish. You know, the clouds moving in the background, even just the way the little doors animations pop open and so on. They really understood what Wonder Boy was all about, and they have recreated it visually just stunningly. I finished this game on the PlayStation 4 in 2017, and it took me not that long, you know, probably 5 hours or something. You know, it's not a huge game, and I was sort of taking my time through it. And I love this game. I can see the gameplay has sort of dated a little bit, you know. We're a little more used to less backtracking and traversing of stuff as you find this game. We have to go backwards and forwards through areas quite a bit to grind. And that was a little annoying, but, you know, it still holds up as a great early Metroidvania style game. And if you're looking for a Metroidvania experience that you can play with your kids or yourself, if you feel like something light, and you don't want taking up too much time, this is a great example of it, because you can really be done with through this whole game in 4 or 5 hours once you figure out where to go. Of course, Piranha Man can swim in these underground areas. Dragon Man cannot. The whole area has a lovely shader on it, so it slowly kind of sways in the ripples. Enemies drop coins, which you can use to buy upgrades, and sometimes they'll drop items like the tornado there, which we can use, which I don't know what the button is. What's the button for it? There you go. You can use a tornado on them, that's kind of cool. As always, this is much better when played with a gamepad. The game is also available for Switch, and it has outsold every other platform on the Switch. It's done really well because the Switch is the ultimate console for these kind of games. It really is, playing them on the go. And while we're here, I actually want to mention another game that came out on Switch recently called Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. Now that is an unofficial sequel to Wonder Boy, and it starts off quite similar to this in that you have our hero and he's transported by a curse into these various monsters, but the monsters you become are quite different. You become a snake, you become a frog kind of guy, and the entire world is very different. And it's a lot bigger than this, made by a completely different team who I can't remember the name of, but it's an expensive game. You know, it's a full AAA price game, and I think it was, when I bought it, was like $50 or something. So significant expense, but that game has about, easily, they said, 15 to 20 hours of gameplay, which for a platformer game is nuts. It's massive. So we have an inventory screen as well, which I can't remember what button is. Let's have a look. Controls, keyboard settings, inventory is I. That makes sense. Okay. Da-da-da. Let's change that. Okay. Because I wanted to show you that again without it switching over to the cameras on my webcam. Alright, so now we resume. Check this out. How cool is that? So we can switch in real time to the old graphics and back to the new. And that's some seriously impressive programming there. And we could also switch the soundtrack like that, because I've been playing on the retro soundtrack for a while, but we have the modern soundtrack, which is beautifully done, so we're going to listen to that for the rest of the game. Which has much richer instrumentation, but you can still, it plays the same, so you can switch between them. Oh, I should keep going before I die. Now, that pirate ship is one of our destinations later in the game. But what we want is an arrow to knock down this guy. Come on. There we go, we got him. So I use my revival potion, which is annoying. These blue crabs are tough. Okay, we've reached, excuse me, the goal. And there is a door there, and we can now visit, I believe, the shop. Goblin Mail, Master Shield. We can't afford either of those things because we don't have enough money. But what we have created, we've got here is a key, which we can use somewhere, and I can't remember exactly where, but it's been a long time. I mean, I played this a few years ago, but I've already forgotten. So we can wander our way back there, but I'm going to die anyway, so we might as well just die. Poor little guy. Game over. So if we tap on it at the right time, we'll be able to get a free revival potion if it lands on the red potion. Oh, not quite. That's a fun little sort of game show mini game. We were a bit turned back in town, but that's where we wanted to be because we actually wanted to unlock this door. Hence the metroidvania elements, where, you know, wait till this certain time until you can get a key and a door. Well, we'll go back there in a second actually. What I'd like to do, go in here, buy mithril sword, mithril shield, mithril armor, and then I'll show us your inventory. We're going to switch to better gear. You can see they have stats there, and you know, it's light role-playing game elements, which is cool. We've got mithril and mithril, as the dwarves would say. Okay, close that. Unfortunately, you don't see the gear on the character, but you know, there's a lot of frames of animation, so I can understand that. And it's all sort of hand-drawn animation. It's not the kind of paper doll animations you'd see in a game like Sword and Sandals. It's all actually, each one is a unique frame. Through here we go. Oh, into the desert. Which is a tougher area. Again, beautiful artwork on the sprites, and you can see what this used to look like. Strange purple sky there, but that was the version I remember, I knew and loved. And you know, the gameplay is exactly the same. Which is a remarkable achievement. I wish all the remakes of games would do that. I've seen there's a Streets of Rage 4. There's just been, they showed a trailer off for that this morning. And that looks really cool. It looks like they've done a great job of capturing the gameplay and everything. But I would love to have a mode like this where you could just press a button and see, you know, the retro style graphics of the original. Lots of layers of parallax there. You can see the desert in the foreground. Really nice effect. Chuck him. A good platformer like this should feel instantly accessible, you know. If you play one platform game, you should understand how they work, you know, as long as the controls are tight and everything. And these controls are, I think they're pretty good. I've played a lot worse. I think Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom is a better game because it has a lot more to it and it's designed with a lot more modern sensibilities, but this is still a cool game. Drop down there. Oh, missed that. We can go down there though. Oh. There we go. Oh, that's rough. So they've designed that perfectly just to annoy you. Ah, okay, come on. Oh, that's rough. That was a really rough sequence for our Dragon Man. So you really want to go out to the left, don't you? And he's dead. Anyway, that was a little playthrough of Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap, and that is a a wonderful remake of a classic early Metroidvania style game for all ages. I played this with my nephew a couple of years ago, and we had a blast playing it for a few hours together. If you've never played a Wonder Boy game, that's a great place to start. There was an excellent sequel. The new numbering of this series is a bit all over the place, but Wonder Boy Monster World is kind of the official sequel to this, and it has similar gameplay elements, except you don't turn into different animals or creatures. You are Wonder Boy himself throughout the whole game, and I kind of prefer that. I like being Wonder Boy and having the different armor and shields. It's kind of fun being the different creatures for their abilities, but I do like just the simplicity of just going around as Wonder Boy. So check out that if you can, if you have an emulator or access to an old Sega Mega Drive or something. That's Wonder Boy 5, and we will try and play that on the Games Gladiator at some point soon, because I want to show off all the Wonder Boy games that I can. I love them. They're one of my favorite series, just from a nostalgic standpoint. And I really I learned to draw from studying the Wonder Boy art and the characters and the little instruction booklets and so on. It meant a lot to me as a kid, and it still means a lot to me now. All right, thank you for joining me as always on the Games Gladiator. Thank you for your support and your likes and subscribes and comments and everything. You are a wonderful community of fans, and I appreciate you all. Much love, and I'll see you real soon. Bye for now.